Sid Sijbrandij knows the perils of working from home. In 2018, after years of toiling exclusively from a small room in his 47th floor apartment in a San Francisco high-rise, the entrepreneur developed foot problems. So he moved in a treadmill desk alongside his Zoom-friendly green screen and 3 monitors. But Gitlab's CEO says the problem isn't remote work, but how it's practiced. Unless you're employed by one of the handful of companies that have fully embraced the new work reality, Sijbrandij, pronounced Sijbrandij, thinks you're probably doing it wrong. His radical take on remote work: it's effective only if you go all in. Partial measures will create tiers of employees who will split the workforce over time, driving away top-performing remote workers who don't want to compete with lesser-achieving on-site colleagues. We'll see some companies go back to the office and try to make the best of it, and I think they'll struggle, he says. How Gitlab does it: the only time staffers meet in person is for the company's annual all-hands gatherings, held in pre-COVID times, anyway, in lively and relatively cheap locations like Greece. Another pillar of Gitlab's remote work: absolutism, radical transparency. It publishes a public online handbook detailing how it approaches pretty much any topic. You won't find individual employees' salaries, but you will find its executives' strategic objectives for the current quarter and the exact formula for calculating wages in the 67 countries in which Gitlab staff live, from Kenya to Morocco to Serbia. There's also a section on how and when to talk to Sijbrandij, and one on his cat. Anything not in the handbook, which would run to 8,400 pages if printed, is likely in an internal Google Doc. Every meeting at Gitlab has at least one companion online doc. Sijbrandij also relies heavily on documentation to allow Gitlab staffers to work seamlessly. Employees update docs and take notes, or share information asynchronously in Slack channels and video messages. Resolved decisions or plans get merged into the handbook, which tracks it all. Every time you have to wait for permission or sign off for someone else to do something, that's a problem, he says. He has built one of the world's most valuable startups, valued at $2.8 billion in 2019, without maintaining offices for any of its 1,300 far-flung employees. It helps that Gitlab, which provides a suite of software tools that help developers build, manage and secure their apps, plays in a high-tech category that's even more important as businesses push sales and customer interactions online. Even among other pre-pandemic no-office highfliers, notably Automattic, the company behind WordPress, Sijbrandij has long stood out. We are probably not as extreme as Sid is, says Dave McJannet, CEO of remote-only cloud infrastructure startup HashiCorp, valued at $5 billion. Today, though, Sijbrandij's radicalism is drawing a vast following.